Welcome to our podcast, Guhso, where we build positive vibe through storytelling, reminiscing the past, and sprinkle a little tips of the present to help mold the future. We are your hosts, Miss Christine Middle Daughter Julia.
And this is Miss Sonia Washbelly Son Sean. Welcome to Guhso. Just as we're getting started here, I just want to go out and remind everybody to follow us on our social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Search for Guhso Live. And if you want to use YouTube, just search for Guhso, which is Guhso, Guhso. And while you're over there on YouTube, do us a favor, like and subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you know when we put up something new. All right?
Yes, yes,
So
yes,
I'm here with
indeed.
my beautiful co-host Julia and a wonderful
Mercy.
friend of hers by the name of Sir Mike. But today we're just calling Mike. So hold it down.
Mike, sir, he's going to be a friend to all, everybody. How we doing? Sean, how was your Christmas?
Boy, Christmas run too quick, Me still I look for a little more
Nah,
hours out of it.
yeah, for real, for real. We still waiting for the Christmas to come, but
Mhm.
that's great. Now, today, people, family, we are continuing our discussion on our Jamaican trailblazers, migrating from our homeland to another land. So that could be US, Canada, Europe, because again, we're everywhere, right? Even Africa. And today, as Sean said, we'll chat with Mike or Sir Mike, a true Yardie living in the US. So, Mike, welcome to our podcast, Gusto.
Blessed, blessed. Glad to be here.
Okay.
Yes, yes. So, Mike, before we jump into, where you are now, just let us know briefly who you are and, your journey.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So, I'm in Chicago. I used
Mm-hmm.
to live in Orlando for quite a bit. Migrated from Backyard when I was
Mm-hmm.
about 14.
Oh,
Went to New York and grew up there. But,
oh.
for most of my adult life, I kind of bounced around different states within the US,
Mm-hmm.
between Florida, Texas, Atlanta,
Yeah.
Seattle. I just kind of bounce around a bit and check out the greater United States. And,
Mm-hmm.
but right now I call Chicago home and I'm
Mm-hmm.
part-time Orlando.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. So you're born and kind of raised in Jamaica. What was your upbringing like in Jamaica?
I had two differences of a lifestyle. First it was with mom and dad. And at
Mm-hmm.
that point, you have all the luxury, you have the meat, and you have the good cooking and everything. Then mommy decided to migrate to the greater Canada area. And at that point, the family separated. So then I went down to the country and learned how to be a man. And the
Oh.
country living, you don't have no maid, you have to
Mm-hmm.
wash your own clothes, you have to
Mm-hmm.
make sure you carry out the cow and feed the horse and
Which
Hey,
which
everything.
parish was that? If you don't mind me
That
ask,
was
which
in
parish?
Clarendon.
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 Okay, okay.
Yeah.
that's not a real country shot. Clarendon and them uptown people live at Clarendon. That's not a real. But then the him say Sean, him say something about maid and all. You didn't have maid in that, bro. Yeah, hear these things, Sean. Maid people. What is maid? What them?
Yo, we guess leave the show, Please continue, Mike. No pay no attention.
No, sir, me
Yeah,
just I
it
noticed.
was
Yeah.
it was a
Uh-huh.
difference because when you live at New Kingston, and we were fortunate enough. My dad, he picked up a
Mm-hmm.
good craft. That's when typewriter machine was in play back then, and he became a technician. So in a New Britain, we had a new housing scheme right over in New
Mm-hmm.
Britain. So there's actually a street named after us called Salmon Way because him and his brother were the first two to purchase in that new scheme, and they called it
Okay.
Salmon Way.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and they have two shilling in pocket, so we have the satellite
Yeah.
dish, and you have the maid a cook
Sure.
and thing and thing, so
I
so the
never Gilbert
bossy,
give us a like this, right?
me just
Gilbert
about
never
to
give us
ask.
a like this.
Me just about to ask if Gilbert never get it. But that's good. Gilbert left it alone.
Gilbert relocated somewhere.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Yeah, man. But
nice.
that foundation was given to us, But again,
Mm-hmm.
when I went to the country in Clarendon, and
Mm-hmm.
to be exact, we were in Milk River. So that's the real
Ooh.
bush. And you
Mm-hmm.
deal with, you deal with light na dada, water na dada,
Yeah.
and you became
Mm-hmm.
the maid. You got to wash your own clothes, and
Yeah, that's
all
it.
the things that, yeah. So that was the
Uh-huh.
big difference that changed, just my entire array of who I am and what I am and what life is about, because you went from being given to now you have to
Mm-hmm.
give. So it was a transformational shift for me.
Was it like a
Oh.
reality check?
It was beyond a reality check. My ball,
I hear
because
you.
we come from my father's home where you always have your beef stew and your stew piece
Mm-hmm.
chicken and your cold foot, and then your tin
Mm.
mackerel and bread, and
Oh, them
it's
Yeah.
call
it's
that
a
dirty girl.
chicken back, yeah, chicken back and them something
Uh-huh.
there. So it was a reality check.
Yeah.
And at first I was depressed, but like like in any good portion of your life, you got to do adaptation. And then country
Mm.
life became sweet because you learn to go a river, you learn to fish,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Yeah.
learn to eat fruits and things. So it was survival at the time, and again, it was a
Mm-hmm.
transformational shift for me to realize that you don't have to have a maid to be happy. You don't have to have a maid to be comfortable. It's what you make of life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You
that's
had other
true.
siblings? You had siblings?
Yeah, that's the bad thing about it, because the three of us, it was me and my two brothers, and the three of us were together with my dad. And after that occurred, one stayed in Kingston, one went to Manchester, and I went to Clarendon. So we were separated.
Mm.
So I kind of
Mm-hmm.
grew apart from not knowing my brother, and it had an effect, because to this
Wow.
day, if we don't talk to
Mm-hmm.
each other, come to think about it, right to my brother birthday, I feel link
Oh
up.
man.
Happy
Call
birthday,
him now.
brother.
Call him now,
Happy
man. Call him now. Don't make it look so bad. We
happy
pass for
birthday.
you.
But these are the things that it just become it's minus from you, and it becomes the normality for you not to talk to your brother on a regular basis, because
Yeah.
in your
But
youth you
hold
kind of
on.
know about
Sorry.
him.
Sorry, I'm not cutting
Hmm.
Mike. Give him a shout out, man. Call him name. Tell him happy
Yeah, man.
birthday.
Oh, yeah, man.
Make him hear the show.
Hardly someone. I have to give him the link. I say, yo, big brother, yo,
Mm.
respect, happy birth strong, yeah.
Happy
Uh,
birthday. Happy birthday.
And what's his
yes,
name?
Oh,
Audley, Audley,
Oddly.
salmon.
The
oddly like
Jamaican
oddly Shaw.
Oddly or
Yeah.
Oddly?
Yeah, man,
Well,
aka Mince. They used to call him
Mint.
Mince.
well, happy birthday, strong, Mr. Mince.
Mint. Minty. Happy
Yeah, man.
birthday.
Wishing you many more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and my bigger brother, his life is significant for me, because
Mhm.
his wife right now, she grew up in the same scheme with us, and it took me a couple of years going back to Jamaica. And the
Mhm.
first time I see him, I said, "What you do?" She said, "Nothing." I said, "Give Audley a link. I'm gonna come back and give him the number." And him never call her. But go back up 2 more years, she's still down there. I give him the number again, then link up, and now she's
Jesus.
Mrs. Salmon with two kids after.
Wow, that's
Awayate.
cool. That's cool.
That's
So
nice.
y'all matchmaker too. Okay.
AKA matchmaker.
I saw the man of many hats, yeah, cricketer. Play all
Well,
part.
yeah.
Wow. Okay, nice. So you came to the United States. Was that, I knew it had to be a culture shock. What was your experience when you first came here?
The biggest experience for me coming here was, especially in New York, one, it was cold as hell.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to adjust to that. But what I realized was, in New York, there was no family, essence.
Mm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
mom was always working. She was leaving
Mm-hmm.
early, coming home late. We had to
Mm-hmm.
fend for ourselves. I had to get a job real
Mm-hmm.
quickly, pushing shopping carts for Pathmark in a grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
bagging groceries to make 2 shillings. So, it was really a massive culture shift, because we left Jamaica where it was a village, especially in the country. We all knew each
Mm-hmm.
other. We did everything together. And then you came here and it was a massive segmentation. So, that was a difference. And then going to school. When me hear Pitney tell teacher to go do this and give them the finger and go and teach the teacher
Woo.
box down Pitney, I realized that there's no manners here. There's no discipline. So all of that was a massive adjustment for me coming here. And it took a
Mm-hmm.
while.
Yeah. Wow. You see, you hear what him say, Sean. A lot of people don't realize that sometimes when you left your home, even though you guys were split up in Jamaica, but you came here, you notice that when you come here, everybody have to work. So mommy have to have three,
Yes.
four jobs, daddy have to have three, four jobs. So the family structure is kind of shifted. You become a latchkey kid sometimes because
Yeah.
you have to make ends meet. Sometimes a lot of times parents can't even afford or even have the time to come to certain little events that children may have. That's because when we leave our country to come here, we have to make it right, because you can't
Yeah.
come from
Exactly.
Jamaica,
You go watch a
you
little
know.
football game and we can't turn on the light next week.
No, you
Keep it
can't.
moving.
You keep it moving.
Yeah.
You eat yesterday, you can't
Better
eat
yet,
today.
yeah,
Mhm.
I was told I gotta pay the light bill. So
All
really?
right.
No.
Yeah. Same thing. Yeah.
Wow, yeah. So it's very important to understand sometimes that, because when we come from, yard where we have it nice and sweet, sometimes we have to suck salt, through whatever, suck salt through wooden spoon,
Mhm.
something like
Exactly.
that, just
Yeah.
to make sure, you survive. Because again, we have the mindset that, yeah, we come from yard, but we have to survive, because again, what Jamaica people are gonna say, Lord, they are further than suffer. And you did that Jamaica, and you that live better. How come you not live better? So again,
It's
you
a
think
different
about these
playing
things.
field out there.
We don't,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. So
And
continue,
see,
man.
and that's the thing for me. So, my transformation came from living nice in a New Britain, Kingston, mead and everything.
Mhm.
Got
Mm-hmm.
country, realize that me are the maid now.
Mm-hmm.
Then come a foreign, and me have to work and I pay a bill now. I'm saying, what virgin, me not even 16 yet now. And on
Wow.
top of that, I got lost. I got lost in the way to where I gravitated to, a couple of rude boys back in New York, and
Ooh.
we were bad boy Yardie. And
Yeah,
next thing you know,
yeah.
before I know it, I was caught up in a gang. And next thing you know, I'm running
Ooh.
around doing gang affiliated stuff because I had to fit in and I had to be
Mm-hmm.
somewhere where I could feel comfortable and safe. More importantly, my younger brother, I had to look out for him. But my older brother, he went straight into the army. He just says, to heck with that. He just took the
Mm-hmm.
ASVAB and went straight into the army. So
Mhm.
Wow.
now it's two of us in New York. I try to survive and left
Mm-hmm.
good country, big Christian boy, and New York, I turned bad boy in a gang. So again, another
Mm-hmm.
culture shift I had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, was this gang a Jamaican affiliated gang, or was it one of them Yankee, mix up gang?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, we had two outsiders. We had
Oh.
one youth from Haiti, but he was so cool, we adapted him. And we had this
Mm-hmm.
one white guy, and he was
Mm-hmm.
actually born and raised in Jamaica. And, a real yardie talk just like me and you. And he was,
Mm-hmm.
people thought he was a pretender, but in fact, he was a real Jamaican. And, so
Mm-hmm.
those were the two. But outside of that, a pure country boy and Kingstonian, our group.
But you can't look down at that, man, because that teaches some ways of New York still,
Yeah.
and it teaches some ways of life.
Absolutely.
To adapt,
Yeah.
to
Absolutely.
adapt, to
It was
adapt.
my
Yeah.
survival. It was my
Yeah.
survival
Yes.
because back in the 87, 86, 85 era, if you weren't affiliated to a gang, you didn't survive because you had the
Mm-hmm.
Project Boys, there were the Yankee, then we had the Puerto Ricans, there were the Puerto Rocks, then we have the
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Jewish crew, and then
Mm-hmm.
you have the Yardie, and so everybody was
Mm-hmm.
in some type of a gang for survival, and we all walked together, we were all caught together, we weren't
Mm-hmm.
separate. So that became my new family.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. How were you in school though? Were you one of those that did the gang but still did well in school, or?
So that's the beauty of being from Jamaica. I remember when I took the CXC exam and all them stuff, them
Mm,
just breeze through, common entrance, breeze through. So when I went to New
sure.
York, now all of a sudden them a teach me things me already left of Jamaica. I'm a graduate from that. So I really didn't go to class. I went to
Oh.
first farm, second farm, homeroom. I took
Mhm.
the quarterly exams, scored good. Teacher
Mm-hmm.
never see me, and they didn't care. So,
Oh.
being a scholar from that point of view, I was always pretty brilliant with my mind,
Mm-hmm.
but I just use it for the wrong thing sometimes. But I could take an exam and pass it like nobody's business. So good grades, I come on, my mommy don't know what me I do.
Oh, I
Which was the
see.
key thing.
Yeah. With
Exactly.
Mhm.
the irony, because a lot of people figure say, "Oh, you're not gang, no, no, they can't read, they can't this, they can't that." The irony of it all is that you was an intellectual gang member, which most people,
Exactly.
what you call them, Sean, street urchin, right?
But yo, my thing doing it take an intelligent person to run a gang.
Mm,
For real. For
Yeah.
real.
the
Because
strategy.
I prevented them from doing the dumb stuff they wanted to do. But
Right.
more importantly, I used to take their
Hmm.
exams for them.
Oh
I
yeah.
would
What?
go to class and take them exam and them a pass and thing and thing. The teachers didn't
Mm,
care.
wow. So,
That's
so
some real. That's good brotherhood, though, man. For real. Me
right.
pretty sure them appreciate that today.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
them said tags. Them said tags. So you were in New York, and then how did you come to Florida? What transpired why you had to come to Florida?
So here comes another transformational shift about my life. Yeah, Julia, you really should write a book about me now.
Okay.
Because in the gang situation, unfortunately, like I said, you try not to be by yourself, but I was caught by myself. And I really took a whooping and, I got cut and a few others spent some time in the hospital unconscious, almost lost my life. And then this happened like in about March, April. And by summer, my mom was in Orlando because she was like, if I don't get out of New York, you won't survive. So we shifted to Orlando. She didn't have a job, nothing. She just packed up the car and we just left. So that brought me to Orlando, and then there's another shift because Orlando was slow as a baby's birth. And I'm sitting there going, yo, no dollar cab, no bus, no train,
No,
nothing.
none of that.
Everything far away from the bus station. If somebody
Yeah.
bus stop side.
So
that
then
was
I came
another,
to Florida, went to Florida, and there was another transformation because I had to adapt again. So this theme of adaptation, which is what's vital when I speak to anybody, now I mentor, especially young Black men, I always try to drive a theme of adaptation. You got to be clever about it, and you've got to make it work for you, or else it's going to depress the heck out of you. So again, I went through another transformational shift, and I started playing sports as opposed to sitting around in the house doing nothing.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
And which sports was that?
Well, I've always been good at soccer.
Okay.
If be a really young call it football.
Yeah.
Football, come say football, we call it.
Yo, we used to hate play Sunday football with them because them act like a World Cup.
Exactly.
You come with the energy, you can't just come and drag your foot. Nah, World Cup this.
But then I also played American football because I was good in track. So wide receiver, I became a wide receiver.
Okay.
And I had this aspiration to be a football player. But again, my knee didn't keep up. So then here comes another transformational shift. That knee now work.
The brain and the knee up on a different level.
Different level, my youth.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So you played, okay. Any other sports?
That was it. Primarily, I was after soccer, American football. I ran some track, but though I also did basketball. You couldn't help it because in Florida, that's it. You go to the park, you play basketball.
Yeah.
So I became pretty decent with basketball. I became pretty decent with football, but that didn't last too long. Like as I mentioned, I had opportunities with basketball, but I didn't take it as serious. I just did it for fun. But it's what kept me going. Because other than that, what else was there to do in Orlando, right? So
Disney.
That was my thing.
Disney.
I got so tired of Disney.
I'm like 1:00 fight. Make sure you're home.
Disney. Oh, okay. So were there any challenges with with you living here in Orlando? Did you face any challenges?
Most of the challenge was self-absorbed. I wanted to do more and realized I couldn't. I wanted to play sports, and obviously the body didn't keep up for that. So then, I fell into a state where I didn't know what I am, who I am. So I started working in the kitchen as a cook. I realized my scholarship wouldn't hold up, so I couldn't get the scholarship. So I started working at nights, back in Winn-Dixie. Right off John Young and Colonial. I worked before they moved it. There was a Winn-Dixie right there, so I was, stocking shelves, and I was just lost. I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do, how I wanted to do things, and I was just a lost soul because again, everything that I tried to do, every place I wanted to be, I wasn't there. I wasn't in Jamaica. I wasn't in New York. So it was a dark moment. But the beauty of it is, perseverance comes from challenges that you overcome.
Yes, indeed.
And that's the one thing I had to do was I had to fixate my mind towards how do you overcome this? What do you want to be? What do you want to do? And I know as a cook, being downtown Orlando, watching these people come in dressed up nice and them things and me over hot stove, I make them food. I say, yo, I'm bigger than this. Yeah, there's got to be more to it. And, unfortunately, people tend to think if you're from the islands, that you're supposed to be subjective to lower class opportunities, lower class jobs, your servants and stuff like that. And I wasn't going to let that cliche became me. So I had to wake up one day and say, okay, so how do you get out of this? And when I mentor people, I try to explain to people that there's a thing in life called quicksand. When you're in the middle of quicksand, the harder you fight, the faster you sink. So you just got to pause and stop fighting and rationalize and strategically say, okay, how do I get out of here? And for me, getting out of that was education. And I realized you got to go back to school, son. So
Yeah.
instead of me fighting and working these multiple jobs and being frustrated, I went to school and I went straight to ITT Tech and said, let me go get an engineering degree. And that's the path it took me. And I went straight to ITT, knock it out in 2 years, met some super bridging. So I bridged to the day I died. I'm bridging. And that took me out of the mockery of where I was. And then right after I graduated from ITT, I got a decent job.
Mm-hmm.
Cool,
That
cool.
started
Thanks.
to lay the foundation for me.
Which one of the
So,
ITT tech you went to?
The one in Maitland, there was the little campus right there
oh.
in
Oh,
Maitland.
hear the joke now. Me used to live off of Maitland, and then I went to
Uh-huh,
the one on Lake Mary.
uh-huh.
That's the ITT tech I went to.
So
That's
you're
funny.
alumni.
Uh-huh.
See, I told you, Sean, after all of this, we will all be friends, right? I said that.
Yeah.
I said
Yeah,
that. I
man.
said that. How
Mm,
coincidental. Wow. So things started looking up for you
that's
after
good. That's
you got
good.
the education. Wow. Okay, nice. And then what happened after that? Because I know you said, you transitioned, you moved to all these places. Walk us
Yeah,
through what that looks like.
So when I left ITT, my first job, I was working in a lab. It was called Saltech. I was a lab rat, optimizing
Mm-hmm.
chipsets and so forth, so forth. And then
Mhm.
I heard that all these chipsets, I was asking someone at the job, I said, where are all these chipsets going? They said it's going into cell phones. That's back when you had the Motorola and all those cell phones
Mm-hmm.
was coming big in the
Mhm.
business. So someone gave a projection that the cell phone is the future. So then
Mm-hmm.
AT&T started hiring for tech support personnel, and I interviewed and got the job at AT&T. From there is where I really took off in my career, because when I went to AT&T is when I realized there's a bigger world out there in corporate America. So I had to flip the script. I had to become corporate savvy. And then
Mm-hmm.
from there, within my tenure, I spent about 20 years there. I navigated through the industry, navigated through different states. And the first shift I made was I went to work for the Network Operations Center in West
Mm-hmm.
Palm Beach, Florida. So I went
Okay.
down there and worked there. And then when they did a restructure, went back to Orlando, and then from there, I started doing some network security work. Then I transitioned to Seattle, Washington, and I went
Mm.
to HQ. And when I was at HQ, is I ran into a black lady by the name of Betty Richardson. God bless her heart. She passed on. She took me
Mm.
under her wings, and she basically said, "I like you. You're a smart guy, but you don't know a damn thing." So her thing
Oh.
was to mold me into
Uh-huh.
But that's
becoming a
a good
corporate
thing,
guy.
though.
Oh man, that
Yeah.
was the
Mm-hmm.
best thing that happened in my career. And she started guiding me, teaching me, mentoring me. She used to call me every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every morning she would call me and talk to me about something. She forced me to go back to school, because
Mm-hmm.
at the time I only had an associate degree. So she said, go get your
Mhm.
bachelor's. So I went back
Mm-hmm.
to school and got my bachelor's. And she said, go get your bachelor's in business if you want to grow. And I went back
Mhm.
to school again. Then she said, go get your master's. And I went
Mm-hmm.
back and do a dual majors in masters in information technology and also in business management. And she's always pushed me, and she also promoted me. So she became more than just my mentor. She became my sponsor. And after I got my
Yeah.
degree, she gave me a higher paying job. And she just started teaching me about the ways of the world, the ways of corporate America, how to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing she said to me is, what I give you, give it to others. And
Yeah.
because of that, I became very pro Black in corporate America. I became very island based
Mm-hmm.
in corporate America. And I started teaching Jamaicans, look, you can come up foreign. You don't have to be a foreigner, but you need to be foreign ish.
Foreignish.
Foreign ish.
Foreignish.
You know
Foreignish.
what
Hmm.
Wow.
though? I hear you say something where you say you have to learn to navigate through corporate America.
Mm-hmm.
And to
Yes.
be honest with you, that's where a lot of entrepreneurs have the fear of corporate because we don't know how to navigate through it.
Right.
So that's a good
Correct.
thing you have there. I never thought of it that way till you just mentioned it a while ago.
That's right. And
Yeah.
that's where the
Yeah.
foreign ish come in,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
because what I've learned throughout my life is, one, you're gonna adapt. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
story that started back in Jamaica, from
Mm-hmm.
Kingston to country. You
Mm-hmm.
can't that country and try to be a Kingstonian. No, 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 no. You're that country. So you gotta be
Yeah.
country-ish.
Yeah, yeah,
Country-ish.
When you left
Country-ish.
Jamaica and got New York, you have to be New York-ish,
yeah. You
right?
have to add
You
that
go
ish
Florida,
Mm-hmm.
you
to
have to be
it.
Florida-ish. So then you come
Fleur.
into corporate America, you can be Jamaican, you can be Black, you can have
Mm-hmm.
your roots, you can love your roots. But if you want to make the green, you got to be corporate America-ish. And therefore, I
Mm.
had to learn how to play the game. I had to learn how to associate, and I had to
Mhm.
learn how to, make sure that people see me as someone that's capable, and don't
Mhm.
just see me as Jamaican, don't see me as just being black. Because once you're written off, you're written off. So you got to play the game so people can understand who is the person behind being Jamaican, who's the person behind Mike, what are you capable of delivering? And those are the things I like to talk to, especially my Yardie that says, be Yardie at home,
Mhm.
but be corporate America in the office.
Right. And I was about to ask that question. So you say you're Yardie, how does that look in regards to the home setting and family setting in contrast to, regular, as we say, regular street urchin? How does that look?
Yeah, because for example, when I was in Orlando, where I had more of an association, I mean, put
Mm-hmm.
on my suit and go to work, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
do my things. And when I reach home, I take off that and jump on my bike and put on my
Okay.
marina and go around the corner and go sit down and play domino and thing and thing.
Mm-hmm.
When it came to
Adapting.
home, yeah, man, you have to
Mm-hmm.
adapt. When it came to home, I never really dated a Jamaican. I've never
Mm-hmm.
really been with a Jamaican woman. So at home, I had to play the American guy. And then I
Oh.
had to bring a little bit of the yard spice. I'll make the jerk, I'll make the food or whatever. But you got to do
Mm-hmm.
that stuff, right? But when I go around with
Mm-hmm.
my friends, we're yachty
Mm-hmm.
and we'll always, respect the culture. So again, I've always been playing the role. And the thing I try
Mm-hmm.
to encourage people is you don't have to sway from one side of the spectrum to another. You can do a
Right.
blend of all
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy
True.
life the best way you can. And you respect the woman just like a
Mm-hmm.
real yard. Make sure you respect your
Mm-hmm.
empress and
Yes.
all of the above. And I just try to bring all kind of flavors I can.
Flip the switch. Flip the switch. So where are you
Flip the
now? Where
switch.
are you now today?
As far as physical,
As far as, your accomplishments, where are you?
Goals. Oh.
Goals, yeah.
so where I am right now, I've been God have blessed me, and God have blessed
Mm-hmm.
me to learn the 3 E's for success. And the 3 E's that I always try to mentor, especially Jamaicans, is that education,
Mm-hmm.
experience, and exposure. The
Mm-hmm.
education is on your own. You can definitely learn where you need to be, what education level you need for the type of job you want. Gain your experience by trying new things. Don't be afraid. Try new things. Sometimes you got to relocate. People say, why you move around so many places, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
Because for every place I moved, I learned something new, a new craft, and you add that to your portfolio. And then the
Mm-hmm.
last piece, which is the piece I'm saying, you got to be foreign-ish. You got to be corporate America-ish. You have to associate yourself with people that know about your capability, and that's the exposure.
Mm-hmm.
People will help you when they know what you're capable of doing. So I latched onto those 3 things, and through my career, I've been blessed enough to have moved up the ranks from engineering all the way to an
Mm-hmm.
executive. So my current role, I'm an executive at US Cellular. In fact, I'm the only black in my senior leadership role. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
on the board of the, for diversity and inclusion, educating,
Mm-hmm.
teaching, and bringing awareness to
Mm-hmm.
the company that you can hire people of color. You can hire people from Jamaica. You can hire people from the Caribbean. I'm trying to showcase that I'm Jamaican. And if I can
Mm-hmm.
sit across the boardroom and make decisions, there's many more like me, better than me.
Right.
So you got to take a chance. And those
Right.
are the
And
things I'm bringing in my position today.
that is one of the questions I wanted to ask. As a Jamaican, all of us here on this conversation now, how do we as Jamaicans or you facilitate this growth between our culture, yard, and abroad? How do we ensure that we bring other people to light?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. My ambitiousness is leading me down a path of I want to be able to, if you think about internship here in the US, internship is somebody from Duke, North Carolina, and all these major universities. I would love to start up an internship where I can get some brilliance from Jamaica and bring them up here and foster them in corporate America and, to sponsor and teach them and let them get exposure that way. Because what I see is that you have a lot of brilliant people across this globe, but here in the United States, we just cater to who we know. I have family in Canada, and they'll give you a visa from Jamaica to go to Canada and work and so forth, so forth. They do it
Mm,
also in the UK, but in America, we don't do that. So
yeah.
where I would love to be in my position right now is where I can open up that door to where we can get some brilliance from Jamaica and bring them over here and let them be able to showcase what they're capable of doing. Because that to me is where we try to expose Jamaica to how to be foreignish. And not
Mm-hmm.
only that, we expose America to be more than what you homegrown and what you believe is success.
So
So
tell me,
if America want to be diverse, they got to look beyond, the U.S. territory.
tell me something. You looked into getting that set up, like
I
to
have,
reach out to the Jamaicans?
I have,
Is it
I
just
have
you
some
alone, or
connections.
you already formed with somebody already?
I have some connections. I have a very good friend. In fact, this was my first girlfriend back at Yard when I went to Garden Masia,
Man,
and
come back
she
again
went
with
to
a hook up
the.
story. Go on, go
Well,
on.
me can't say them things are too loud, my father. So but she went over to London, and I remember going over to London and hanging out with her. And, her husband is really cool and nice guy. Him and I are still friends to this day.
Mm.
She went back to Jamaica after years of being a teacher in the UK, and she's down there now working for Yui, and she's hooked up on certain boards and certain things. So I'm trying to connect with her to try and get some folks, ambassador type folks, to look into these programs, because I'm asking her questions like, so when they graduated from Yui, where do they go? What do they do? How do we expose? And those are the things I've been talking to her about. So,
Mm.
she travels a lot. I'm trying to link in with her, but she has some connections, and that's my hope, is that we can do a breakthrough.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds great. So, Mike, final question. Final
Hmm.
question. So, seeing now you have accomplished, most or maybe not all, but most of your goals and you're successful in what you do, what advice you have for somebody or anybody who is listening to our show who are transitioning right now, about to leave their homeland to come here and abroad? What are some useful tips? I know you gave some, but to kind of close up, what are some of the tips that you can give based on your experience to someone who is ready to take that leap or not sure how to take that leap or is a little bit, skeptical about taking that leap? What advice do you have for us?
The first advice is, remember who you are. Jamaicans, man, we're strong. And because we're strong, we always accomplish our goals. That's in all of us. And that's what the Maroons show us from way back when, right? So
Yeah.
don't forget that. The second thing is, don't be afraid to try new things. And to try new things means that you can't bring the old thing that you're used to and affiliated to. It doesn't always fit into the new scheme of things you need to do. So you got to come with an open mind. And the third
Mm-hmm.
thing is, make sure you have mentors. It's
Mm-hmm.
easy for you to prescribe what you think is a solution when in fact it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't fit. But if you can find someone that can mentor you and say, okay, if you try ABC, you get this. If you try one, two, three, you get that. At least give you an
Mm-hmm.
awareness before you try it. So I
Mm-hmm.
always tell people that for me, the best thing that happened in my career were my friends, even
Mm-hmm.
going back to New York, because my
Mm-hmm.
friends showed me what the heck I didn't want to do. I didn't want to be the gang. I didn't want to keep that up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they
Mm-hmm.
helped me, and then my friends, who were in ITT, they, we all gravitated to each other and learned how to grow. And then my friends
Mm-hmm.
in corporate America also helped me and
Mm-hmm.
taught me what I needed to. So I would say to anyone coming here, man, if you hear the sound of my voice and you want to connect with me, I'll be more than happy to talk. I'll be more than happy to share. There's
Ye-
nothing
Mm-hmm.
more gratifying for me than to be able to help somebody. And throughout my career in corporate America, I've helped so many blacks. And to
That
this day,
Mm-hmm.
they still talk to me. They still communicate with me because I want to put money in your pocket.
No,
I don't want
good.
you to
no,
take
that
care of your family.
you said that. How can they find you?
How
You
can
have
they
any
reach you?
handle, anything like that? Not to
Yeah,
give out your cell phone
email,
number, or not like that,
email.
but
Yeah, don't do that. But email address,
So, they can find me on Facebook. I'm starting up a program. It's called See You Rise.
see you
That's the
rise. How you
name of
spell
it.
that?
As
SERC
just
what?
as in SEEURISE. See
Okay.
You Rise. And that came from a premise of, I want to see you rise. And
Mm-hmm.
all
whatever I
right.
can do to help you, I will make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to launch a nonprofit where I can
Mm-hmm.
help young men coming out of high school. I can help young men and women, excuse me, minorities coming out of high school. I can help young men, women, and minorities coming out of college that wants to get into
Mm-hmm.
corporate America. And I also want
Mm-hmm.
to help those who are in corporate America that's hit the glass ceiling and
Mm-hmm.
realize that it's tough to break through the glass ceiling. But again, the harder you bang away, going back to my quicksand analogy, the harder you
Yes.
bang away, the worse it is
Mm-hmm.
for you. But you need a
Wow.
strategic plan to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've
Wow.
helped so many black folks broken through. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't helped enough Jamaicans and Islanders like I would love to,
Mm-hmm.
and that's my next
Mm-hmm.
big thing.
Well,
Awesome.
you learn now, so now you can help us out.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't
For
lose
Uh-huh.
yourself
sure.
with
Yeah.
that part there.
Perfect. Wow, Sean,
For
very
sure. For
inspiring.
sure.
See
Mm.
you rise. We're gonna plug that on our
Hmm.
page. Thank you so much, Mike, for chatting with us
But it
today.
feel me not cut it through. Like, I feel like we could have get a little bit more knowledge out of Mike still,
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
might
Mike
have to
look
reach
like
out
him
back to
have
you for come talk.
yeah, he might have to
Mm.
come
Oh, for
back and
sure.
sit with us. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
For
coming
sure. It's
and
been my
sitting us and
pleasure.
inspiring us, on your journey. And for those that are listening out there who are a little bit I think they'll probably be more hopeful now. Because I mean, especially with your new venture, See You Rise.
Hmm.
So grateful to have you here with us. Thank you so very much. Sean, let the people know where they can find me and where they can find the See You Rise.
Yes, well, See You Rise, as you heard, is on Facebook and spelled out properly.
Mm-hmm.
SEEURISE, See You Rise. That's where you
Mm-hmm.
can go and communicate with Mike and let him know your plans. Whatever you want to need to
Mm-hmm.
talk about, Mike will let you know. And if you
Mm-hmm.
want to catch up with Gusso, our
Mm-hmm.
latest ventures or whatever we're doing, we're also on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook as well, and Twitter, and also Instagram. Just search for Gusso Live. That's
Mm-hmm.
GUHSOLIVE, Gusso Live. And if you're in a location where you can't get us on Spotify or iTunes, try YouTube. Just search for Gusso,
Mm-hmm. Good old YouTube.
GUHSO. Good old
Yes.
YouTube. And when you go there, please like and subscribe and hit the bell
Please.
notification so you can hear what
And
kind of shenanigans we're up to.
leave us a comment. So thank you so much, guys. All
Thanks
the best for the
again.
new
Mike,
year.
thanks again. Don't be a stranger, brethren. We still need to hear
Yes.
Not
more and
at
learn
all.
more.
Not at all.
All
Juliet
right.
know to find me. She know to
I
hunt me
know.
down. So, not at all.
All right, cool.
All right,
All
thanks.
right, then. Mike and Julia Gossa. Little more.
God's up. Peace and blessings.